once the assets are inside the policy, there's no tax. But getting into the policy, there can be some tax, say on real estate. He has first we have to determine his basis. Then we can assess the best strategy to get it into the policy. Frequently, we use something called a sale for a note to put it into the policy to spread out the capital gains tax. Frequently, there's some tax getting different asset classes into the policy, but once they're there, there's all the growth is completely tax-free.
What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? Dr. Vikram Ryan is a functional cardiologist, high-performance coach, and real estate expert, is here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life, unlock your limitless potential, and achieve greatness, all while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Limitless MD. I'm your host, Vikram Ryan. Today, we have a special episode where we're going to talk about a unique investment vehicle called PPLI, Private Placement Life Insurance. My guest today is Michael Malloy. He is the owner and founder of EWP Financial. Started off in property casualty insurance, but quickly made his way into a very unique pocket of life insurance, which wealthy individuals can use as sort of their unofficial Roth IRA and essentially do tax planning and estate planning in one investment vehicle. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Let's get right into it, my friend. Who are your clients and why do they need to come to you?
Our clients are wealthy individuals and families, usually of net worths of 20 million and up, and they're looking to pay less tax, which is the prime motivation. And like you said, first of all, to get your head around PPLI, you kind of have to forget about everything you've known about life insurance. You know, I'm reminded of the Woody Allen joke that his worst nightmare is being trapped in an elevator with a life insurance salesman. So we've all had various experiences with bad experiences with insurance. And I like to think that people have a section of their brain for insurance. So we've all had maybe a bad auto accident and we weren't treated so fairly, or homeowners claim. So people kind of lump those all together. So when they hear the word insurance, they said, "Oh, I've had enough." Uh, but like you said, PPLI is an investment vehicle for wealthy families. They've been using it since the 1970s. Unlike regular life insurance, where you're usually trying to maximize the death benefit, on our policies, we minimize the death benefit and turn it into a tax planning, estate planning vehicle. With proper structuring, you can put almost any asset class inside, unlike regular life insurance, like
Let's let's
universal life, whole life.
let
You know,
let's
you just,
let's try to make that tangible, Michael. So let's do this.
sure.
I have a doctor who has $5 million net worth, and he has $1 million of cash, and he wants to put into one of these policies, and he has a business that he runs as well that's spitting off a lot of income,
Mhm.
and maybe he collects cars. So walk me through how we can use this vehicle.
Well, first of all, we need to assess the value of each of these assets. And um, the best way to get it into the policy with as little tax as possible. Um, we have various, like you said before, once the assets are inside the policy, there's no tax. But getting into the policy, um, there can be some tax, say uh, on real estate. He has first we have to determine his basis. Uh, And eh, then we can assess the best strategy to get it into the policy. Frequently, we use something called a sale for a note to put it into the policy to spread out the capital gains tax. Frequently, there's some tax getting different asset classes into the policy, but once they're there, there's all the growth is completely tax-free. So it's not always completely painless going in, but the benefits in terms of long-term growth are phenomenal. Your clients have probably always all seen charts where there's comparing a taxable investment versus a non-taxable investment over time. So over say 20, 30 years, the growth of the investment that's not being taxed is maybe 10 times can be 10 times greater than the taxable investment, particularly in clients in states like California and New York.
So let's talk about this. You can use different asset classes to enter this structure, including current businesses, collectibles, real estate. What other type of asset classes have you seen being put in there? Can you put crypto in there?
Yes, yes, yes. We have uh, uh, companies that specialize in that actually that have
Uh-huh.
excellent custodians
Okay.
and they really know how to handle it well.
Okay. If you're explaining this to a high schooler, uh, tell me again why someone would want to do this strategy.
Well, the high schooler probably doesn't pay much tax, but you could I'd
Let's
first
assume the
ask.
high schooler's dad is a billionaire, but you
Okay,
need to
so
explain it
then
to the high
yeah,
schooler.
yeah, I would ask the high schooler to ask his dad how much he uh, pays in tax. So maybe 30% a year, let's say.
Hmm.
So imagine having, so would you rather get a dollar or 70 cents? And multiply that times and put as many zeros as you want after that. And that's the reason. Um, because you're going to see with a simple multiplication and then multiply that over time that by taking a third of it out each year, the growth is going to be much less than if you
So,
don't pay tax.
so as a contrarian, I'd like to know what are the reasons why someone would not want to do a policy like this?
Uh, the main, a main, well, for two reasons. It's multidisciplinary. So you kind of have to engage in tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning, asset protection, all in one go. So it requires a sophisticated individual. And then also one of the IRS rules are such that if they give the taxpayer a break, they usually take something away. So in this case, they're giving you tax deferral. There's no tax when the investment is inside the policy, but they're limiting your control. There's something called the investment control doctrine. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but what it's come down to mean over the years with various IRS rulings is that you can't micromanage the account. It's similar to like if you go to JP Morgan Chase or any other investment bank, and you ask them to manage your money, you give them kind of an investment mandate based on your risk tolerance. But they do the picking of the stocks and the individual investments. So it's the same here. You can't.
So you're saying there's no active management, like if I put a real estate apartment building in there that I'm
Well,
invested in.
then each asset class. Well, you can have one person, but frequently you have different asset managers inside the policy,
Hmm.
and whom you appoint. So if you appoint a like-minded asset manager, there's generally not a problem in terms of the investor control.
Got it. They want at least one degree of separation away from us actively managing what's inside the PPLI. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. It's similar, like you usually don't own real estate directly. You form an LLC. It's something similar.
Okay. Got it. Talk to me about some of the physicians you've worked with throughout your career, and maybe some of the examples of how they've been able to grow and scale their wealth with some of these strategies.
Well, the what we were discussing earlier before we went on the air, the one gentleman who had founded multiple medical related businesses, and he wanted to pass them on to his kids in a tax efficient manner. So we were able to put those into the policy along with his current real estate holdings, and then all the future growth on the business is captured inside the policy and passed on tax-free to his beneficiaries.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. What is the minimum threshold in terms of how much you can put into a PPLI?
Well, generally it's around 5 million. Although if you were going to make, say, smaller contributions over a number of years, you wouldn't have to put it in all at once.
And why 5 million?
That's the market that the insurance companies want to serve, and then also there's rules, IRS rules about who can invest in a policy. It's called private placement life insurance, so it's like a private holding investment.
You have to be a qualified purchaser, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes,
the
or
$5 million mark.
accredited investor, either one. So
Okay.
generally,
Well,
when
accredited
it comes,
investors, their criteria is a little bit lower than that.
right, yeah, you have to be one or the other, and
Okay.
then,
So it sounds
but
like you can get in with less, but the market seems to be poised for the $5 million mark.
correct, correct.
Got it. Okay, great. If someone would be interested, what are the next steps?
Well, they go to our website, EWP-financial.com,
Mm-hmm.
and we have lots of educational materials, videos, articles, um, and they can contact me, and we'll see if it's for them. We usually have multiple conversations at the beginning because one of my rules on investing is if you don't understand it, don't do it. So uh, I don't want clients to, after a year into it, say, well, I didn't really understand this, I didn't understand that. So we like to explain things fully, and they can understand all the upsides and the downsides before they sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Great. And as we wrap up here, any advice for wealth building and strategic wealth creation to all our listeners here in the Limitless MD podcast?
Uh, well, like what I just said, invest in what you're comfortable with. So if you're a real estate investor, stay with that. If you like stocks and bonds, if you like collectibles. But the wonderful thing about PPLI is that all these asset classes with proper structuring can be put inside the policy. So if you're tired of paying tax and you want increased asset protection, you know where to find us. So
That's
thank you.
awesome. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. All
Yeah.
right,
Thanks
guys.
for having me.
And listeners, thanks so much for supporting the podcast and supporting the channel. Until next time, be phenomenal.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramryan.com. Until next time, be phenomenal.